Hamad, good
Hey.
to see you, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's only been a week.
It's only been a week.
And a week and a half.
You're on my show just a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. How you been?
Yeah, good. How about yourself?
Good, man. Great.
Yeah.
Enjoying the sun.
So we bumped into you at Cottesloe here. Why not film an interview?
Let's do it.
I mean, we're used to them by now, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, all right.
Share the same platform many times.
Yeah. So we've got this sign here. Is it okay to abuse animals? I mean, you kind of know what we're about.
Yep.
What do you think of that, man? Is it okay to abuse animals?
Well, what's your definition of abuse, first of all?
I want to hear yours and I'll give you mine.
Well, my definition of abuse is unjustly killing an animal where it's not necessary.
An animal. So you're being more specific to animals here?
Yes, animals. Yeah.
So abuse
I would say to any creature, to be honest. Abuse to society, abuse to the beach, where you don't need to go harm the beach, but you go spill oil. That's abuse to the beach.
Well, you're actually not wrong.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. So abuse can apply to inanimate things, or it can actually apply to sentient beings as well. So it's to inflict cruelty or harm. Is that right, Tash? Is that the definition? Cruelty and or violence.
Cruelty or violence, yeah.
So, yeah, as we said, you can technically be violent to an inanimate thing, but in the case of an animal, do you think it's okay to be cruel or violent towards animals?
Well, again, that's why I gave you my definition.
Yeah.
So what's your definition?
That is my definition.
Which is cruelty and...
Cruelty or violence towards animals.
Cruelty and violence.
And do you think that's okay?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Especially when it's not necessary.
Not necessary.
But when I look at the laws of nature, when I look at the laws of the universe,
Yep.
that's the protocols I want to follow and embody in my life.
Yep.
Because it's been around far longer than me.
Sure.
It predates my existence and anyone that I know of.
And what laws are you speaking about?
The laws of nature. So how animals function in the wild, how the seasons move. These are the fundamental laws of nature that allow existence to be present.
Right, so you're saying you can't, this current present moment right now, existence, me and you, we can't exist without abusing animals, is that what you're saying?
In what way?
Just, you said like, the present moment, we can't exist right now without
Well, you don't
abusing
have to
animals.
abuse animals, but I believe you can eat animals. That's not a problem.
So do you not think that abusing animals, do you not think that eating animals is abuse?
Well, it depends how you do it.
Well,
to
tell
be
me, how
honest.
would you do it without abusing
Well, I
animals?
mean, you raise a beautiful cow organically.
Sure.
Give it a good life, but when it comes time for it to give its life up to you, it's more of a spiritual practice. You look at it dead in the eye and you're like, it's time for you to transfer your energy into mine.
Yeah,
And
I can raise a human child
Yeah.
and treat them well, give them a nice life, and then when they're 18, I can chop their head off and eat them.
Well, you're free to do that.
But is that a good thing? Is
I
that
mean,
okay?
you do it, you pay the consequences.
No, so you're saying it's not okay because there's
No, I'm
consequences.
saying, like, look, there's no good and bad, but you whatever you do, you reap the consequences.
So you're not saying that's a bad thing?
well,
to chop a human child's head off?
Are the consequences bad enough for you to do it?
Yeah, so there are consequences, illegal consequences.
So it is bad.
Why do you think we have a legal system that would stop me from doing that?
A legal system from stopping you from doing that?
Yeah, why do we have
Can you
that?
elaborate on that?
So why would it be illegal to chop a child's head off?
Why would it be illegal to chop a
Yeah,
child's
why
head
have
off?
we made that illegal?
You tell me.
No, I want to know your thoughts. I know, I know.
Yeah, well, my basic thing is that it's another human being. You wouldn't want to kill another human being.
Yeah.
Why? It's a child, number one. They don't have...
Any human, any innocent human.
Look, the thing is then, it comes down to the idea of killing. Is killing wrong? That's the question. In certain situations...
An innocent person,
an innocent person. In certain situations, killing is right. I believe it
In
definitely
self-defense,
is. In
yeah, et
self-defense,
cetera, et
and
cetera.
someone breaks into your house,
But we're
someone's
talking about
threatening
someone
your family.
innocent here.
Someone innocent. Well, I mean, look, if you're just going to kill him and leave him there, that's completely wrong.
It's
Like,
completely wrong. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with you. I think
Yeah.
it's wrong to kill any innocent person. But what about non-human animals? I mean, what's the difference? Why is it okay to kill an innocent animal when we don't have to be doing it? Likewise to humans.
well, nature's been doing it for thousands of years. Not even thousands, millions, billions.
Humans have been killing one another for millions of years.
Correct, but they haven't been doing it for a form of sustenance. Certain areas, like in Papua New Guinea, yes, they have been. That's their laws, that's their customs. But for a vast part, a huge majority of society has developed and evolved off eating meat. Fundamental nutrients can't be found in meat that can't be found in plants. I eat plants myself, I love them, like carnitine, for example. Yeah, we can supplement it.
You don't even need to supplement it.
It's not declared an essential amino acid, but it showcases in certain ways that it is important for brain development.
But we don't need to be healthy for that. It's not a necessity. But if you really need it, if you really think you need it, you take the supplement.
Yeah.
So knowing you can get your sustenance without abusing animals and and humans as well, what's stopping you from just doing that, man? They're innocent.
Well,
Forcing them into a slaughterhouse. You wouldn't force a human into a slaughterhouse, so why are you forcing non-human animals into slaughterhouses?
that's a good point you have there. And I look at it that way, but it's like I see death in a completely different sense.
It's towards humans as well?
Towards humans
So
themselves.
you think it would be okay to force an innocent human into a slaughterhouse?
No, not at all.
So why non-human animals?
Because you got to eat it.
You don't have to. I'm a living example of that.
Well, you still owe me your blood.
Oh yeah, I'll give you
we still got to
blood,
do your blood test.
Yeah, I mean, there's millions around there too, and there are studies, like there definitely are studies that have looked at vegans and stuff like that.
What's your argument towards how society has evolved off eating meat?
They've evolved eating meat, that's for sure.
Millions of years.
Yeah, we've evolved doing many horrible things. Evolution is no indication of what's ethical.
Right.
So when you have the option to not harm somebody, I can assume you wouldn't harm somebody if you had the option not to. If you can thrive without hurting somebody, you would, as you said with humans. Again, I come back to the same question. You don't have to be consuming non-human animals. So again, what's your justification to continue doing that? We're not in a survival situation. We're not living in the past. We're living here today. We have access to a grocery store. You eat plant foods, you said that. So what's stopping you from just making that slight adjustment?
I think it should just be well balanced, man, well rounded. You should be able to enjoy foods.
I do all that. Well balanced. I enjoy foods. The most enjoyment I've ever had is actually since going vegan.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Hands down.
How's it been?
Not even lying.
Yeah?
Yeah, great.
You used to eat meat before
7
that?
years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tash 7 years ago too.
Did you have quite a bit of guilt for that? Like
when I found out what I was doing was wrong. When
Yeah.
I found out that I didn't have to do it, and when I saw the footage for myself of what actually happens to these animals, to be honest, you don't even need to see the gruesome footage, which is the reality. I mean, every slaughterhouse is absolutely violent and gruesome.
I completely
but
agree with
even
that.
if we did it instantaneously and they died without any pain, I still see that we're stealing that life from them. And I wouldn't steal a life from a human knowing I didn't have to do that at all. So again,
Yeah,
what's the difference here? Why would you not do it to
There
humans
is
if
a
you do it to
huge
them?
nutritional component to it. Like
That
I
you
said,
can get your nutrition elsewhere.
Well, the thing is that it's your choice then. It's your choice where you want to get it from.
What about the animal's choice, man?
Well, that's up to me. I want to take that choice away from the animal because we are apex predators at the end of the day. We have the ability to control and manipulate our environment, and if you can't survive in that environment, you're going to get dominated and destroyed. Yeah. It's the reality of nature, man.
And then
you
we
go
come
out,
back to that question,
you
bro.
got-
It doesn't make it okay just because it happens in nature.
I think it does, yeah, because I don't think nature would have made a mistake. I don't think the divine intelligence that orchestrates reality and creates galaxies and planets and universes made a mistake somehow. I think that it has evolved for a specific reason. Every animal out in the wild that is a carnivore eats another animal, okay?
So based on your logic just then, if there was a person standing right here, or myself or Tash right there,
Yeah.
and a lion came along and was about to kill Tash, you had the option to prevent it from happening, you would just allow that lion to
Well,
kill
Tash is my friend, so like I wouldn't.
Anybody, someone else that you don't know,
Yeah.
someone innocent that you don't know.
Well, look, if I've got a connection with that person and we're friends and whatever.
Not a connection then. Let's get rid of the connection.
Well,
would you, if you could
no.
prevent it, would you?
Yes, of course I'd prevent
Absolutely,
it.
'cause
the
what you're
reason
saying
why
is nature
the reason
isn't
why I
ethical.
prevent it is because humans as a species are apex predators and we're a collective species. We all stick together to make sure we survive. Like right now on the beach, for example, there's so many kids swimming. If someone was drowning, I'm in there. You're in there.
Absolutely, because nature isn't
Exactly.
Nature isn't ethical.
But if there was, like a fish or something else that was like going in the water, I'm sure like we wouldn't even bat an eye to it.
Why not? That's species.
Huh?
Why would you go out of your way to save a human but not a non-human?
Because we have a different connection to humans.
There's many humans you might not have a connection to.
Well, then.
Do you have a connection to your dog Xena?
Yeah, exactly.
You would try to save Xena.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
But then they're not a human.
100%. But if it's like, for example, there's a fish that's swimming and the shark's about to eat that fish, I'm not going to go out of my way to get in the way of billions of years of evolution of that shark's predatory instincts to save that fish.
Yeah, it's not really practical to go out and do that.
I'm going to trust the regenerative intelligence that allows these fishes to continuously emerge, be born, and their energy to be recycled through these animals. And it's a whole system. It's like a.
They don't have a choice.
What do you mean they don't have a choice?
They don't have a choice. They can't go to a grocery store like you can. You have the option. You can actually be vegan. I'm talking to you about this simply because you do have the option.
Like, that's my choice.
No.
That's
you're choosing to abuse animals, and you're trying to say that that's okay, but it's not okay for humans. That's contradictory.
I don't think it's like abuse. I wouldn't call it abuse.
So it's not violent to shoot someone in the head?
I mean, that is violent.
That is violent.
That's abuse. The end product of it is violent, and
that's what abuse is.
Reality is violent. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely, it is.
The way that the Earth formed was, what happened with the dinosaurs? A comet came down, wiped everything's existence off the planet. Horrible, right?
Absolutely.
And I don't know if do you believe in a God?
No.
Do you believe in it? I don't mean a man in the sky.
I think you could say I can believe.
Do you believe in an
like
intelligence?
Presence.
Yeah, an awareness.
Awareness, yeah.
Consciousness.
Something other than our current reality, material reality, maybe. Yeah.
Is it beyond our intelligence?
What is?
This awareness that we're talking about.
Potentially, if that's what you're referring to.
No, I want to see your viewpoint because, like, you know, me and you, we have these good conversations.
But you were just talking about dinosaurs.
Yeah,
they do unethical things.
I'm going to come back to it.
Maybe.
I'm going to come back to it.
Yeah,
I'm going to come back to dinosaurs. So you believe in a higher form of intelligence. As an intelligence, when I say, you said awareness, right?
Yeah, awareness. We can call it that if you
Okay,
like.
not a man in the sky.
No.
So do you think that this awareness has more capacity than you?
I'm not sure. I don't even know how to answer that, to be honest.
As in, do you think that this awareness that exists throughout reality, that's fundamentally shaping reality, has more intelligence than the human species?
The intelligence is a funny word, because intelligence is a component of a brain.
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah.
Well, what would you define it as then? More awareness.
What do you mean? What do you actually mean by this?
I'm saying, do you believe in a higher force? Simple.
No, I don't know. I don't have evidence of there being a higher force.
What does your gut feeling say? Like, do you think that nature?
I believe there's a presence around here.
Okay, there's a presence.
Whatever.
What is that?
You call that?
What is that presence?
Immaterial reality. Whatever.
Okay, is that reality?
I wouldn't say it's intelligent.
What are you trying to say? Like,
Well, tell me what your point is, and then we can get there.
I just want to know, like, do you think that there is a force beyond our reality that is
I don't know.
organizing
That's
this
my answer.
reality?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. So, but you had a gut feeling before. You said that you feel that there is.
Whether or not there is, I mean, whether I say I do, whether I say that I don't believe that, it still doesn't change the fact that I wouldn't go out and harm any innocent person, whether they're human or not.
I truly respect you for that. And
it happens in nature, but it doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
If you have the option to not harm somebody, human or non-human, I would say that that is the preferable option, to not harm them, because you wouldn't want it for yourself if you were in their position. If you were in the cow's position, the chicken's position, you wouldn't want to have your head chopped off. You would want to live free because they are sentient, they feel, they have a desire to live.
I sympathize with that. I 100% sympathize with it. And I've got the deepest respect for you guys, for what you guys do, and I fuck with you guys, straight up. You know what I mean? Like, but in order for us to be able to understand each other better, I see your viewpoint. But the viewpoint I see is I believe in a higher force, not a man in the sky, but an intelligence that governs and creates reality.
So why would this higher force want you to harm an innocent person?
Because it's our limited perception of what we think reality really is. We think this is only reality. This is it.
Let's say there's another reality. How does that justify it?
Well, it changes the precipice of what death is. Death isn't something that should be feared upon then.
No, I agree. We shouldn't fear death.
And it should be something that you recognize as a transition.
But I don't think we should take someone's life if we don't have to.
Well,
so you might not fear death, but I'm not going to chop your head off.
I get that. But my point is, what I'm trying to say is that this intelligence has created this reality, right? And it's beyond my perception and cognition to be able to understand why it's created it this way.
Sure.
So I'm not going to question it.
Would you say it's given you a conscience?
I'm not going to question this reality.
Would you say it's given you a conscience?
I'm going to look at it and I'm going to be like, dude, you created the trees, you created the oceans, you created weather systems,
it
planets.
Created your conscience, right?
Cosmos,
your knowledge
everything.
of right and wrong, what's ethical.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
again, knowing that it created your understanding of ethics, is there something ethical about harming and killing an innocent being?
I just see it as transformation of life force, transference of life force.
It gave you a conscience, it gave you the knowledge of right and wrong. Is it right to kill somebody that's innocent?
Well, look, I wouldn't go out and kill somebody that's innocent, but look...
So it makes you a hypocrite if you do?
No, it's not that.
But it does make you a hypocrite. If you say you wouldn't do it, but you actively do it.
That means that every animal in the wild is a hypocrite.
No, the animals you eat are innocent.
How so?
Because they're farmed animals.
In what way?
They're innocent. They don't deserve to be killed.
What about the millions of insects they step on and kill?
Oh yeah, I'm not saying what happens in nature is...
So they're murderers themselves.
But I'm not
if I murder a murderer...
They might not have moral agency like you do.
How do you know that?
Well, they might not. I can't communicate them. I can't tell them not to. I can help prevent certain animals that are in our care from killing other animals. I think that's a right thing to do because other animals want to live. But the reason I'm talking to you and not a cow is because I can communicate to you. You have access to vegan foods, and you could choose vegan foods if you could.
Well, I was vegan for a while, and I felt very weak.
Or maybe you weren't eating enough. Maybe you weren't doing something right.
I was doing the best that I could in my capacity. Maybe I wasn't. Maybe I wasn't doing the best thing I could.
Not.
But I've just balanced it out now. I eat whatever
I'm
I
a
want.
nutritionist. Hit me up. I'll help you out if you ever need
We'll
help.
get you back on the debate show. We'll get
bro.
you back with Anthony Chafee, and then we'll really discuss the nutritional elements of it.
So to finish this off, would you accept that based on what you've discussed here and your values, would you say that you're a hypocrite every time you go out and kill an innocent animal? Even though you're against animal abuse?
I think I'm an apex predator. I think it's my right to be able to take another animal's life, not other humans.
From the victim's position, is it wrong?
If another human was to come into my territory or impeach into my area or hurt any of my friends, I have the right to take their life.
Because you say that's wrong, right?
Because that's wrong.
Yeah, so why isn't it wrong for you to go and kill innocent animals like that? That animal is killing innocent humans.
Because that animal's killing cockroaches and stepping on other animals, so it's a murderer also. So why can't I murder it?
Yeah, but you're doing the same. You're murdering animals
Well,
as well.
I like it.
You like murdering animals.
Oh, look, if you want to call it murder, you can call it murder. I see it as a transference of a life force.
It's deliberate and unjustified knowing you have the option not to do it. That's what murder is.
Yeah, well, all the animals are doing it.
All right, we'll finish it there. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Ahmad.
so much.
I really hope that was recording. I was thinking like...
What, it wasn't?